one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want all the Democrats to hear that. We didn't take God out of that.
Number one, approval or amendment of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as printed. Roll call vote.
Solosik.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes,
Motion passes. Consent agenda. Number two, approved minutes from the special session of June 17th, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the minutes from our special session of June 17, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as printed. Roll call vote.
Solosik.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Patton.
Motion
Yes.
passes. Number three, debris removal at Marshall County, Iowa. Discussion and possible action to approve finding property in Marshall County, Iowa to place tree debris from the August 10, 2020 derecho windstorm causing widespread tree damage throughout the county. Who would like to begin?
Well, I certainly can. First of all, I was wondering, do you have to wait until the next special session to approve the minutes of a previous special session?
Yes,
Why is that?
because it's special sessions. It's not a normal session.
It's just,
It's just the
it's just
way it is.
It's just
Okay.
weird.
I was just curious, because it's like, it could be months before you have.
Mhm.
Oh, and lots of times it is, yeah.
Okay.
It hasn't been for us in the last couple of years. Just gonna throw that out
We've
there.
we've had them rather regularly, like bi-monthly.
So,
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
not to bring this up, but have you thought about going to weekly meetings?
No,
Okay.
please don't bring that up again. We have enough meetings that are on the books that we carve time out for that then disappear and get canceled. We don't need another one.
Okay. Well, after the storm, the level of tree debris, as you guys all know, is multiple times more than we had with anything with the tornado, because so much of the damage was in the city. But with this being so widespread, there's tree debris all over the county, and people are wanting a place where right place where they can actually dump it. It's, from what I've seen, most of the farm population, of course, they all have a place to put stuff, but there's a lot of places with acreages and a lot of trees where they don't really have property to put debris, and they tend to have more trees. So we just want to provide, I think we can provide 3 places that are distributed around the county that would provide open places where someone can get in with a trailer and get in and get out and not have, trouble with getting stuck or other issues. The first one would be the area north of the Garwin Road, just west of Wallace. That is it's an unused portion of pavement. It's a
Is that triangular shape?
Yeah, it's the diagonal section of right of way that's between Garwin Road and Wallace. And we've started already using it for our own purposes, but I would open that up for public to get in there and bring the tree debris in there. The other place is on Stanley Mill Road, west of Albion, and it would be just west of the river. And it's a property that I think it's conservation ground right now, but it's we did some demolition work there, and it's associated with them taking that area for a wooded wetland mitigation.
Is that where the building site was?
Where it was, and I think there was a bin or something there that we took down.
Is that what we call the Marietta Sand Prairie then?
No.
This would be river bottom.
Okay.
Right west of the river. Like if you're going west of Albion it'd be between Lafayette and Monaco Road.
Okay,
It's down
Down the
river
hill?
bottom ground. It's
Okay.
river bottom ground.
all right.
And that's one I think that would potentially be able to get a permit to be burnable, but that's the only one. And that's it's an old farmstead, so it's an easy in and out area to dump debris there. And then the third one is south of town on 265th, and it's an area where I have got an agreement with the landowner that's later on this agenda to rent. Basically, we're getting a temporary easement purposes of just, vegetative debris storage. And we would be able to use that one as for a public entrance, and it would take just a few loads of rock in the drive, just to make sure the drive isn't, just an earth drive. So that if it is damp, they can.
You said it was on 250th?
265th
265th, thank you.
and just west of Highway 14. It's, I think it's probably only about a half mile, it's maybe 6/10 off the pavement. So it's fairly accessible to everybody, and it is just an easy, flat area where we're gonna start. I just talked to Brad, we'll be taking stuff in there tomorrow if this is approved. It's currently in beans, but we've got crop damages in the agreement and compensation for potential compaction. So that's all. And I can talk about that on that item. But
Yeah, back to the one there west of Stanley Mill Bridge. Who has control of that?
I think it's conservation right now.
And have you visited with Mike about that? Because-
I haven't, but
See, the state was involved in that on a DOT transfer.
that property,
That's
I
why they
think,
bought it.
yeah, there's more property than just where the farmstead is.
Oh, yeah, there's 200 acres there. Yeah.
So I don't know if there's actually different named parcels, or I can't pull up the beacon here, but
That's
that one just kind of came up here in the last couple days.
okay.
It's something that originally we were just gonna use it for our own dumping, but I think it's the only one. It kind of makes a triangle of sites, so there'd be more for the western side of the county if we had something over there where they could take debris.
So we've got 3 sites that we're going to be used publicly.
Yes, and
And then how about our own sites that we are using privately?
we would be using the same sites.
Okay, do we have any others that we're using privately?
There's a piece out on the sand road that I don't know if we will dispose of there, but it's not, I don't know that it has the capacity for us to have
Okay.
public dumping out there. If we did want to bring that onto public, I'd bring it to another meeting. We've got one next.
You may do some, but we don't need approval for that.
We don't need, we don't need board action for us to use the area. It's
Right.
conservation.
Right. And is that possibly, that area there, is that possibly burnable?
I do not know.
Okay,
The sand road is fairly populated.
Mhm.
When we open these up, do we have to make them open to the DOT too? Is there anything to that?
If the DOT was gonna help us haul Marshall County debris, and I don't know that we've made a formal request yet, have we?
Okay.
If-
I think they're so tied up in the city, I don't see us getting additional help from the DOT.
Okay.
But they would be, and anybody that would, I guess my only constraint would be is that it's debris from Marshall County, but really, I don't really have a good way to
I
police
mean-
that either.
We'll accept any help and wouldn't have any trouble making any requests.
Could make the request.
Yeah.
It's free to ask.
It's
Yeah.
all,
They've been helping State Center. I know they finished there, so I know they do have extra help. It's just a matter of asking.
Didn't they also help down at Lamoille? DOT?
I don't know on Lamoille.
I visited with the lady that you
Yes.
had given me the name of, and she says that they're dumping down along the side of the tracks down there.
Saw it at Lamoille on the
At
west
Lamoille,
side.
on the west side, so they're good, they're okay.
Yeah, because Temple's had a spot, so I wondered if they were letting
Mhm.
the whole,
Sounds like it's gone well.
yeah, and we've got a spot also. They call it the Outback down behind the church that we've had a couple of the neighbors put
Mhm.
stuff down there too, because we'll burn that later.
And
When we get
Ferguson,
some rain.
oh, let me get a little further cleaning up my yard first.
I've given up on the rest,
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. I'm glad Lamoille's kind of taken care of.
and then we're adequately going to post all this, that this is vegetative debris only, no building material or refuse, because we're obviously either going to burn and or shred and haul later.
Yeah, and I would just foresee that if places, if people start bringing in building debris, we'll
Shut it
close them.
Okay.
Is there a way or a reason to put up like a trail cam or something, or?
It's possible in some of the, at least one of the places.
You know, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So if we do have somebody come in and drop construction material, we have some way of monitoring who it is and being able to tap them on the shoulder and say, you need to come back and get your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a $50 trail cam,
Yeah,
not a big deal,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm sure you can get them cheaper than that.
that's a good idea.
Well, we probably had a bunch left over when we were putting up the trail cam up there on Stanley Mill Road. At Lafayette, when the stop sign kept getting run
There
over.
was 6 or 7 signs that kept getting run over.
Yeah, it was
That did stop, by the way.
it did. The second we put the cameras up.
Weird.
I'm sorry.
Do we need to make some signage? Are you in the position? to make
I
some
think we
signage?
can, I think we can get those made. They may not be up tomorrow. but
No.
We'll get them signed. And like I say, as long as we make sure that it's clear to everybody, you know, that in this procedure, what we're saying that, you know, it's vegetative debris only. It is not building, not barn wood, not metal.
Nope.
Because all that stuff we're gonna have to haul out. And we have to, you know, bring the ground that we're renting, the easement area back up to their satisfaction before we leave.
Yep. And then we'll also have to work with the DNR on anything as far as if we do decide to burn later. Because they're gonna have restrictions and things. They don't want anybody burning green wood at this time because of the amount of smoke and things that come up
We
from it.
have touched base with the outfit that's doing the grinding for the city. It's Thorpe out of Jefferson, and they're gonna definitely grind for us. We know we're gonna have to grind it at up the Wallace and Garland Road and at the Coulter property.
Once we grind it, what do we do with that debris?
It's may be able to just stay up there in that right of way. I don't, and if we would grind it, we would load it in if anybody wanted it for anything. I think it could potentially make livestock bedding. I don't know anything about livestock, but I imagine it could work. And
Is there a
Good mulch.
bridge on that section there that we used to be worried about, that little triangle piece?
Is
up
there
there?
what?
Isn't there a bridge in there that? I
I
was thinking
think
there
so.
was, okay.
But if we could, I'd sure be making it available to our farm population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You load, you haul, it's free.
You bet.
and
Or even if it's
And
just
we
a
would
mulch, you
even
could
load
put
it
in your garden or
if we
something.
could keep vehicles and trailers in to get it out of there. We're gonna have a load there anyway.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna, especially the Green Mountain one, as it gets dumped, we will mash it into a bigger and deeper pile on the road. And we can go higher and wider because we're not gonna light it.
So is this also something where we keep track of all our expenses that are above and beyond for FEMA and
Yes.
whatever else declarations we get?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Paul, that was something I was gonna ask. Are you gonna do it like a time when you're done accepting so that you can actually do some measurements and get all that done for FEMA?
Yes, as far as the rental agreement, we said we would be out of there by March 1st, I think. Is it March 1st or March 31st? March 1. So we'd have to have a date well ahead of that, so we had time to clean the site up. And, you know, we would just have to target how long it's gonna take us to get things cleaned up. But yeah, we will definitely put a date down.
Be nice to get out before the frost goes out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really hoping to clean up the site, like on the Coulter property, we would come in there and clean up when frost is in to minimize compaction.
Yep, big time.
Yeah, and I think, the county is gonna need a lot longer to clean up than the people that you're offering that spot to dump in. I would give if it was up to me, I definitely would give a date, cutoff date for public dumping. Then that way you know that you're not gonna have anybody else in there dumping. You can start measuring.
Well, let's talk dates. Would October 31st be a tight enough window, or should I go?
I can't,
That's 2 months.
Is that too much? Should we go end of September?
I would think October. That gives people you know, that
Plenty of
on the
time.
weekends or whatever, if they're working. I would think, yeah, I would think October, the end of October.
October,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that if you want to just.
And
say
then
that
you
public-
can continue
Right.
doing it, but
Because like we say, we're not gonna be concerned about the farm area because they're gonna be pushing their stuff in their own property and probably burning it. These are the individuals that have acreages.
Yes.
They should certainly be able to be cleaned up and hauled by October 31st, maybe even earlier.
It gives them 3 months.
Do we want to keep the date fluid and announce it later, or do we want to set it now?
I'm okay with now. I mean, I think it's a wide enough range unless you think that we could leave it in case there's a chance we can tighten it up. If we just find out nothing else is showing up at the.
I would kind of monitor it that way. If we see that it, you know,
That we're
They
about
they
there.
quit dragging in, I'd shut it down and get on with the process of getting the pile measured, getting it shredded and getting it out of there.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some info when you put out the media release.
yeah, even October 15th, that's a month and a half. That's plenty of time. It makes people get the job done.
Yes.
Yep.
When we're not pushing our FEMA numbers back too far either.
Yeah.
'Cause there's time frames on all that.
Good morning. How are you doing?
James, you're not muted.
You're not muted, James.
We're
Sorry,
doing-
guys. I switched over to make a phone call and then I accidentally unmuted you. I'll get back off that. Sorry.
So we could actually say October 15th, and we could also just note that this date may needs warrant.
I'd like that.
How about
Either
October
way.
15th or earlier,
Yeah.
based upon when we quit getting additions to the pile?
Okay. That'll be a month and a half then.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think I'll make a motion that we approve finding the property in Marshall County, Iowa to place tree debris in from the August 10th, 2020 derecho windstorm causing widespread tree damage throughout the county. And we put an end date of October 15th or earlier if it necessitates it because people are done with their
Completed.
cleanup and not bringing in any additional debris to the pile.
And I would second that. So we had a motion and a second to find property, and actually we've already defined the properties that we're going to be working with in Marshall County to take tree debris from August 10th, 2020 derecho storm and accept until October 15th or earlier. Any other
And then
discussion?
will you take care of the communication of that beyond like putting out
Yep.
a news media release?
Press
of that,
releases
press
and
release?
such.
I don't have Ken Hughes' contact information.
I've got it.
I got that, yeah.
I usually,
Actually, if we just put the release out on our Marshall County website, it automatically goes to all of the radio stations, the State Center paper and the Marshalltown paper.
Okay.
So any news release we do from the county just automatically hits all the media.
I should make sure we've got the correct email addresses in our department, because when we do those notifications for closures, we get all kinds of junk return, email doesn't exist anymore on different ones, especially at the TR, because they change people every.
Yes. Yes.
Bill, I made a motion that we do pursue the area for the debris and that it end October 15th and possibly earlier if people are done bringing their debris.
I seconded it.
Okay, have we voted?
No, we
No.
haven't.
Okay, I apologize.
No.
That's okay.
Senator Edler called and I thought, ooh, maybe I better listen.
Yes.
So,
Did we
okay.
get any money?
No, but he may help me out a little bit.
Good.
All right, I
Good.
like that.
I think we're ready for roll call vote.
Solosik,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Hopefully this is a big help to our people in the rural community.
Well, we had quite a few requests.
Yes.
And most of them were,
Because I get a lot of requests too. Can I make sure that I get in on that release, when you media release that? I'm not sure that I always catch those.
Yes, yeah, I'll run it by you before I run it.
she's really good at putting it out on her Facebook, and there's a lot of people that follow Kim's Facebook for
Yeah, that's-
information.
Great source.
In fact, if you want to write it, I'll look at what you write for me.
Whoops, I shouldn't have offered all.
Won't do that again, will ya?
Yeah, we'll come up with
Together on
something.
that call, I don't mind.
I'll make sure you see it before anybody else does.
All right, we'll move on to number 4 then, the Secondary Road Department Temporary Right of Entry Agreement. Discussion and possible action to approve a right of entry agreement between Marshall County, Iowa and Robert J. Coulter for the purpose of storing vegetative storm debris from the August 10th, 2020 derecho windstorm. Marshall County and Marshall County residents will have the right to enter and exit this property to accomplish the above mentioned work. All storm debris shall be disposed of by Marshall County, Iowa under the direction of the county engineer by March 1st of 2021. Do you want me to read this?
I don't think that's
Not
necessary.
necessary, is it?
It's roughly 1 acre and it's just off Highway 14 on 265th. That is it's a very accessible drive. We will put some rock in the drive just to make sure that it's got good traction depending on weather.
Good.
But we were in a spot where we don't make a point to keep any excess right away in different places. We just don't have a lot. Even our own lots where the outlying sheds are, they're not incredibly oversized. I think the biggest one's 2.5 acres. And we use it for storage of other equipment and there's just, there's not the space. And so we found a parcel here that just through asking around who might have something they would be willing to rent to us. This is currently in Beans, but we did cover crop damage in the agreement. And with $300 rent, $600 for the crop damage of the standing crop, and then $300 for 3 years for compaction damages.
Possible.
And it ends up being $1,800 total to the landowner for this, but it's, like I said, we didn't have very many other options, and this provides a place for, it's fairly accessible because it's centralized. So really anywhere in the county, it's not a long drive to get there. But for the southern half, it's definitely shorter than going clear up Green Mountain.
My only question is, do we need to do anything with EMC insurance as far as making sure we've got this area and our other areas covered?
we need this site put on our liability
Yes.
insurance.
I've already talked to Shemo Madsen, and they said that it's no problem to add Coulter as a additional name insured on our liability policy, and it'll be enforced this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't have any other questions then. I think
No,
we've-
this is just something we have to
Yep.
do to get over this situation.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the right of entry agreement between Marshall County, Iowa and Robert J. Coulter and authorize the chairman to sign.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the right of entry agreement between Marshall County and Robert Coulter. Authorize the chairman to sign. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Solosek.
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 5, adjournment. The next regular session is September 1, 2020 at 9:05. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the county auditor and recorder's office or the Board of Supervisors office by Thursday, August 27th, 2020 at 1:00 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned at 9:31 a.m. Thank you all for attending.